Going good, man. It's good. This is it's nice. We're in Northern Cyprus. Amazing series. I don't think either of us, we didn't have the dream. We didn't win the main, but we're here. We had fun, and yeah. I mean, tell me what's next for you? World Series. You got a bracelet recently. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Tell me first of all, where was that? You won that online, not live, right?
It was online, but you could also only play if you were in Vegas physically.
Okay.
So yeah, I was in my hotel room. I just busted some 5K and then went up like tilt-edged all the online tournaments and yeah, won the 600.
And so you've won. I guess it's a EPT. You've won a WSOP now and the elusive Triple Crown. Is that something? Is that on your mind? Because the EPT is technically not even around, right? Like it's called the Poker Stars Championships, kind of. Is that something that, like, are you like, wow, I want to win a WPT now? Is that like important to you, or do you just kind of go and play as it goes? Like, is that on your target list?
It really is, yeah. It's funny because, like, I mean, you shouldn't care that much about titles, I feel like, in tournament poker because it's so unpredictable.
Right.
But I really want to win a WPT. It's just such a prestigious tournament. Always wanted to get really close, like seconds and thirds. And yeah, that's like the last one I really want to win right now.
And
yeah.
So when you register online, this WSOP, you're in your hotel room. Like, tell me. You said you kind of tilt, like you're out of stuff. You're like, whatever. Like when you flick that in, I mean, it's like almost you're probably having a couple beers, just relaxing, not thinking much of it. When did you say, okay, wow, like this is like I could actually win a bracelet from online? When did it become you had some chips? Was it early on, or did you think when did you see like you could actually win that tournament?
Yeah, it was funny because usually, I mean, the last times I ran really well on first bullet, like it was kind of a smooth ride from the beginning.
Yeah.
And this time I busted 2 times, and it's only like 2 re-entries, so it's my last bullet.
Okay.
And I was kind of like over it already. I said like, okay, one more re-entry, whatever.
Yeah.
And had some other tables as well. And then I ran like God on that bullet. Like I couldn't lose an all-in for the whole tournament basically.
Wow. And
it's pretty crazy.
Where were you in? You were in which hotel were you in Vegas?
The Cosmo. Yeah.
So is that like, are you when you stay, are you staying there for the whole summer now, or when you go back? Or I guess I keep saying summer for the WSOP right. Coming up. Will you go back, or do you get a house when you go to Vegas?
Yeah, no, my girlfriend and I really like the Cosmo. We actually just got convinced this year to like check it out for the first time. We always stayed like Aria right. and Bellagio and stuff. And my friend said, no, the Cosmo is way nicer. And then we stayed there for like 4 months in a row now.
Wow.
This year. It's just so much nicer. It's really good service, and you have like a balcony and way bigger room. So yeah, we're definitely gonna stay there as well for the WSP.
And I want to know your thoughts on the online stuff, because WPT also has these really nice events on Party Poker. They run them. The WSOP now has these online bracelets. What does your opinion change that you won one online now? Did you at the time you're like, man, it's kind of weird. People are winning all these bracelets online. They're doing New Jersey bracelets, Michigan bracelets. Like there's a $50 World Series bracelet now. It's a little bit. In my opinion, at least, like that's a little bit like a $50 for a WSOP seems low. What's your stance on online bracelets before and after you won one, or is it the same? Like, what does it for you? Does it feel like an asterisk at all, or are you just like, no, this is how the world's evolving and online's prevalent? What's your stance on online bracelets?
I mean, I do absolutely agree with you. Like $50 is too small. Even like the 600 that I won, it feels like it's like a bit too small, because like I guess the lowest one, I guess they have like a Colossus or something at WSOP.
Right.
But in general, they are like at least like one case or something, like a little bigger. And then also online, so it's just very different. I don't think it's the same. Like I remember being like heads up in WSOP, like one of the first ones I played, and was like a different feeling. Like it just felt more real, like more. I really, really wanted to win.
Right.
I mean, I want to win online as well, but it's just it wasn't the same without a rail. Like how the Thunderdome, like it's so much energy and stuff.
Yeah.
So I still want to win a live one, and I think it's not exactly the same.
Do you think, like, would it make sense? Because at this point there is a lot. I mean, now because of COVID, what happened? They did the whole series. There was like GG has their series online. Yeah. There's like additionally a lot of World Series bracelets line. Do you think it would almost make sense to have another category for like online World Series bracelets, or do you think it's just good to blanket it as it is? Because I've started hearing that argument, but I'm just curious what you think. Do you think there should be any separation, or should it just all be one?
I mean, potentially that's a good idea. It's I don't know. I don't know how to do that like retroactively, you know, like I
Right.
guess like when people played the online events, they kind of.
But I mean,
Like
I think honestly though, because it is also, I mean, you could argue that online's even harder though. Like the players may be tougher. It's tricky because there is. I don't know. Live poker to me seems easier. Like in general, right? World Series, you go there. There's like it's just fun. Live poker's fun, and I feel like it's a little bit less difficult. So in some ways, I think it's actually harder to win a bracelet online, if that makes sense. So maybe it is just the only thing is there's just a lot now, right? Like that seems like there was like 60 World Series events, roughly 80 bracelets during the World Series in the summer. Now you add some online, they were sprinkling a little bit, and then there's a whole other series. But either way, guys, look, that's impressive. He's got a World Series of bracelet. He's got the EPT, and he's going for the Triple Crown, which I think there's only who was that? I believe Adrian Mateos was talking. I don't know if he got one or someone we were talking. Maybe he's won too, but there's not a lot of people that have won the Triple Crown. I think it's like it might be like 5 or 6 people. Yeah. It's not many.
Who is there? I mean, Jay Cody for sure. Then
Motion.
Niall Farrell.
Motion Shrenia won as well.
Yeah.
I think it's like less than
5. Sounds right.
5 about people. So it's an exclusive list. What do you like now more, online or live in general? Like, because you've been playing. We're going to take a look at your Hen and Mob. You have over $11 million in live tournament earnings, which is insane. What do you prefer? If I told you today, 1 year you can only do live or online, what do you choose?
100% live. Yeah.
Live.
I have phases, kind of. Right now I'm really in like the live grind mode. Like I played just a few weeks ago when it was like they had this 6 schedule with WSOP events on GG, then WCube on Stars, and WPT on Party. And I was like really excited to like play online again because I haven't for a while.
Right.
And then I just didn't enjoy that much. Like I was really looking forward to the strip here, and I mean it's still fun like to play online. Like Sundays, a lot of action and stuff. But being here and playing like a nice 5K, 10K, and then like the live cash games especially, I just really enjoyed myself a lot.
And what percent are you cash first live? Like a stop like this, you go. There's 10K, there's 25K, 5K main. So there's a decent amount of higher buy-ins, and then how do you kind of allocate your time with cash games in something on a stop or when you go around the world and you're playing?
It's it changed a little. It used to be always like I played a tournament basically from the start and then like play Sam Cash after. And now I would always take cash over the tournaments, at least if there's like high stakes like here running.
Okay.
And I still played the main and then like went back to the cash games, and they went on for all night, basically every day. And really, really big games, super enjoyable, good crew. I would play cash over tournaments right now.
And how do you deal with the kind of like rest, sleep, workout stuff? Because you are a guy, I see we run each other in the gym in most stops. I don't know if you go every day because I don't, so I can't say I try to get in there. But is that how big of a priority is it for you to go work out or sleep? Like say you play cash, you got day 2 of a main or day 1, like would you rather late reg a couple levels, get a workout into your routine, or do you like to just hop in and not miss any hands?
Here it was really tough actually because the games just went on for so long. Couldn't really quit. I still try to do the workout, but if you don't sleep, it's such a bad workout. I mean, you'll probably been there too.
For sure.
If you don't have the energy level, and I mean, you can take like a pre-workout to have like a quick fix, but
right.
It's not really really that good. So I mean, ideally I would get some sleep, then have a workout, and then reg the tournament. And if there's like a day 2 and you can't really late reg, then I would just do some cardio or something quick before.
Right. And tell me about your online preparation for tables, schedule. Is it like now there are a lot of great options across many sites. So how do you approach your schedule? Do you map it out? Like, all right, I'm going to play, here's my tier 1 tournaments. If I bust, I go here, or are you just kind of like in the lobbies and looking around as it goes? And also how many tables, like will you play min and max on, let's take during this last series when there's a ton of stuff. There's just great events every day, everywhere.
No, I wish I was that professional like Patrick Leonard, for example. He's mapping out everything. He's very good.
Yes, he's got a nice routine for sure.
Exactly, but I'm not, sadly. I'm kind of just see what's running. I mean, I have like an idea what's coming up.
Right.
but I would probably open like 12-ish tables when I'm at home. Like when I have like my 2 big monitors and a good setup, I would play like 12 to maximum 16 tables at once. And then if I bust, I would add other tables. Or if I pre-reg some, I would maybe unregister when I have too many.
Right.
So around 12, I would say.
And how do you believe your play is impacted at that level? Like when you're playing 4 versus 12, like how much sacrifice do you think there is there in ability and, even spots like small blind, big blind, or, whatever, right? How do you calibrate and understand that, like, okay, I'm not going to play 100% at 12. Like, what do you think the difference is between 4 and 12 in that?
Yeah, I mean, it gets worse the more tables you open, or at least for me it is.
Right.
So if I play like a final table or maybe like a 25K, I don't play that many online, maybe like a few a year. I would probably only play like 4 or 6 tables just to concentrate on the big ones. But if I have like I don't know, let's say 5K is the biggest buy-in, then I think I'm good with 12, and maybe reduce in the end of the session. If I go deep in the 5K, I probably wouldn't open like a 109 turbo or something.
Right.
So that's kind of how I approach it. It definitely gets worse. I could just like one table a tournament and play way better than if I play 12.
Right. Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. I think on a laptop too, as you said, like on the road, it's tricky, right? It's just you can't do what you would normally do at your home. And how much are you playing at home versus on the road? Because you do travel a lot. Like what % are you actually at your main area where you're living?
I mean, this year, so my girlfriend and I, we left UK in December, and we haven't been back since till like a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Just because of the whole situation. Like we didn't want to do a lockdown in UK.
Right.
So we went to Mexico for a few months and then Vegas for a few months. So I wasn't home at all. But then when I got back home, I played quite a lot. And in a normal year, without the situation like now, I would say like maybe like 4 to 6 months a year I would be at home. Maybe less actually, but something like that.
And do you prefer to have your routine at home and you have, the food, the restaurants, your workout, your gym, all this stuff in an area? Is that more enjoyable to do, or do you like being on kind of a nomad on the road here and being in hotels and doing that, traveling the world and what's your, or do you just like the mixture? Is it like, all right, I like here, now it's time to move and back and forth, or which one do you prefer?
For me, it's really the mixture. I love coming home, like after a long trip. Get like home cooked food. I mean, I can't cook, but I'm lucky enough to get like home cooked food. And the restaurants at home and seeing the friends again, everything. Like also like non-poker friends, which is like kind of important to have, I feel like.
For sure.
And then I really enjoy traveling as well. Like I'm a big fan of having dinners out, like good food, or also room service if you feel lazy, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I really enjoy both. Yeah.
And how has your family been, friends, and supportive of a professional poker player? I guess you're 31, 32. What when you started, was it like, okay, this is just a phase and like let them have some fun, or were they like do not play, this is bad, gambling's bad? What was sort of your sort of overall friends, family approach to when you said, hey, I'm playing poker?
Yeah. No, I was really lucky. Everyone supported me. My parents were super supportive. They like joined me on some trips, and like they wanted to buy like 1% of tournaments and stuff from the beginning.
Very
like
cool.
They're just like really supported me no matter what. I was just really lucky in that regard. I think there was not one person who told me, oh no, that's a bad idea, you shouldn't do that.
And you grew up, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, I know, in Germany. What's the name of the city you're from?
Bad Homburg. It's a smallest city next to Frankfurt, like 10 minutes from Frankfurt.
Okay. So in there, I mean, German, obviously a lot of poker pedigree there. Who was sort of some initial, I guess, role models or people that you saw like doing it for a living and maybe sparred you to go into this? Like, is there anyone that you were like, wow, like that's cool, they're doing this for a living? Or did you have like a year or two older friends that were playing, or how did you get into it?
Yeah, my friends. I mean, no one did it for a living that I knew, but like we watched around us, like a lot of people.
That's how I got into it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing.
And then we just like had home games. My best friends and I, my friend bought a table and we met there like 3 times a week, whatever, played 10 cents, 20 cents, something like that, like super small stakes. And then, we went to some casinos, did some trips, and I guess like a role model. I mean, it was before like even the coaching videos, like there was nothing, no solvers or anything, like 10 years or 12 years ago. So I bought like every book I could find, And I guess the German player I was kind of looking up to was Jan Heidmann. He's not. He was a PokerStars pro for a while.
Okay.
I don't think he plays much anymore, but yeah, he had a book, and some other people. Gus Hansen's book.
What was his name? The first guy, the German.
Jan Heidmann.
Jan.
His first name. It was George Dancer is the other one. They were best friends.
Yeah,
for a while. Yeah, there were some good German players, but I don't think many of them are around actually.
Right.
But yeah, I was reading Gus Hansen's books, even Phil Hellmuth, or what else was there? Like all the old school.
Theory of Poker. Did you read Skolinski?
Yes,
that was the one I kind of looked at. Yeah, it's crazy times. I do remember that was like, it was just so fun to play with friends and go around. And did you have a natural sort of ability early on? Were you just kind of mucking about, or did you feel, within a couple months or a year, were you like, all right, hey, like this is I get it, like I'm winning, I'm beating these guys, like I'm better? Was it sort of like that for you?
I mean, I was running so good. I remember that, like in the home games, I was winning so often, but I was terrible. Like I don't know, it must have been luck. Maybe I had like some stuff because I was taking it a bit more seriously, like just posting hands in forums, which my friends didn't do, and this kind of stuff.
I mean, yeah, it has to help. Even reading and stuff, I'm sure, like not, most people probably weren't reading books on it. So you were, I even put like, knowing position or bet sizing early is like, you're going to be way ahead of the curve with the front. So very cool. And what was, let's take a look here a little bit at your Hendon Mob. Also want to remind everyone watching that you can get in for the giveaway. We're going to give away a ticket at the end of the stream. If you want to ask a question for Manig, we have a lot already, but you guys are all you got to do is just follow the instructions. You'll be entered. So we'll check back on that. And then here, $11 million in earnings for live. This is just live, not online. Do you use Pocket Fives or any of those other sites? Or
no, not really.
Not much.
I might have an account on there, but I don't think.
All right. Well, look, we'll focus on the live stuff because it is fun, and you guys can always search him on. I'm sure there's trackers for the online stuff. We're focusing on the live. So let's go back down memory lane. 2000, I think 10, 11. You're here. Do you remember these tournaments? There's a lot. Look at this. There's a lot of stuff to go through. We're gonna find some of the big wins and search through here. But how was this back in 2010, and why here? Why these islands, Canary Islands? What was that about?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it just told me when I got here, and I couldn't really remember. I mean, I do remember the trip. So what happened was, the European Masters of Poker, like the league. It was the first kind of thing I grinded like every stop. Like you see the first few.
This
trips,
one, the European. Okay.
It was like a lot of Scandinavian friends of mine. I knew like the owners of the site. I can't remember all of it, but you could basically qualify online for like 20 euros and stuff on these sites.
Look at Vlad there. This guy. I never heard this guy's name, and then recently I just seen him like crushing online, and he won, I think, some major event. And but yeah, so that
I wouldn't remember that.
Yeah. Okay. So you're playing and grinding these tournaments there, and I mean this was like this had to be a lot of fun, right? You're traveling kind of the world and going and.
Oh yeah. Now I remember. It was also there was a leaderboard. So I told myself I want to play all of them and win the leaderboard. And the first place was like a free cruise, like a poker cruise. So yeah, I grinded for the leaderboard and then played all of the stops. I don't know how many there were, but like every month I think there was one or something, almost maybe. And then I won the leaderboard, and then I hung out with all of them on the cruise. It was just amazing times. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And this was pre-Black Friday, which was April 2011. So just before, so you get to play with the US. You're on, World Poker's kind of at its pinnacle. Well, I mean, it's still very, very popular. What was your online? Were you playing more online at this time? Like, so that you play in some of these live stops, were you grinding and playing full schedules then?
Yeah, I believe I was playing quite a bit online during the time as well. Yeah. I mean, I definitely grinded a lot of these like satellites and I think sit and goes at the time as well. Because I guess you didn't really need to know anything. You just like open 20 sit and goes and push or fold, and then you were good to go. So I definitely did that. But mainly live cash on the side, I believe.
And you get 2010. So was this your first trip to Vegas in this World Series?
Must have been, yeah.
So 2010, you go there, and the main event, you get. I mean, it's a very deep run. 178. That was your Duhamel one. What was that like? That experience getting down to the final. 200, and how did that feel? Like, did it feel like you were gonna win? I mean, was it? Were you that deep? Could you feel the room shrinking at that point?
I was very nervous. I remember that. Yeah. I had some sort of like patch deal with PokerStars at the time.
Okay.
It was like my only lifetime deal, basically. Where you when you cashed, you got a PCA package.
Oh, wow.
So it was like another 15K or something on the min cash, plus the 20K or whatever it was.
Wow.
So it wasn't really big bubble for me, and I was like, I didn't have a lot of money. I don't know what my bankroll was, but it was very low. So
You
it
made
wasn't
sure
really,
you got in the money.
Yeah. I actually remember like bluffing before the bubble still. I don't know why the fuck I did. But I was all in like for tournament live, and he folded. And then a little later I was kind of knitting it up and got in the money. Yeah, it was fun times. It was really, really cool.
And looking back during that World Series in 2010, did you get a house with friends, or was it a hotel you kind of went to? Do you remember how you started going in Vegas?
I think 2010, I definitely didn't have a house. Like I didn't have that many like people that were there. I remember the Scandinavians I played in European Masters. They weren't 21 yet. So
okay.
Actually, Joni Jokiman was one of them.
Oh, nice.
He played all the European Masters. So he was younger than me, or is younger than me, I think a little bit. I don't even know how old he is. But I remember like some of them couldn't come to Vegas. So yeah, I just took a room by myself. I think like Palms Place or something. And then the year after, I think it was the first time we took a house.
Very cool. And I see Cyprus on the map here. So this is where we are now.
Yeah.
And I guess Full Tilt was the one sponsored and a part of, but good payouts and events. Do you remember the action being as good as it is now here? Was it when you came here, were you like, wow, this is different? Or
that was crazy. Actually, yeah, I think I mentioned it before. I went here like a lot of times just to play cash before that tournament. I remember that. And yeah, I also remember that tournament because Andreas Krause busted me. I think I had queens, he had eights. I was like really sad.
Oh man!
With like before the final table sometimes. And it was so different back then. Like I don't know. I can't even like the hands would make no sense nowadays at all.
Right.
But yeah, it was crazy soft, and just playing tight. Like it was money printing basically.
and how so looking back at 2010, 11, 12, when was a shift for you in terms of information and you got alert to, was it, run it once or some sort of school online or there's a various different services or PO and stuff. When did you like take it from just, okay, like I have a pretty good knack for the game into let's do work, let's study, let's get better? When did that happen for you?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did it by myself, and then like there was a forum called Poker Strategy and 2+2 where the forums where I posted, like had some online friends that I talked to.
Right.
But then I can't remember. I think it was 2011 then. Yeah, it must have been like 2021 when I moved to London in a house with a bunch of high stakes cash game players.
Right.
And we were sitting together and like talking about strategy all day, like for a year or something. So that was the shift when I really like took it seriously. Before that, I was kind of like messing around and trying on my own. And I don't know, there was like some sort of program where you could do like the push or fold stuff.
Right.
So this was what I was training with, but PO was way later.
Right. Yeah. And how much, when you hear guys like Bryn Kinney, the Helmy with the white magic, like this stuff, like how important do you think it is to do work, like deep work versus can people get by nowadays with just kind of being talking with friends and having an idea? Like, is it possible to play at the highest level, do you think, without really doing some sort of deep work? Because I'm fascinated by Phil swears to me he doesn't do that stuff, and I talk to him, and Bryn also, he says he's like a street player, and he obviously both great players and natural abilities. But what's your take on this kind of stuff?
I do think they're kind of the exceptions. I mean, yeah, Bryn is a good example. He's been crushing forever. Also says he's not doing solver work. I'm also like someone who's more like who's really into like live reads and kind of stuff. Like also like some street poker style, even though you shouldn't say that probably for like the future, but it's the truth. Like there's a lot of like most super high roller players doing way more solver work or have been at all time, and I don't really think you can compete nowadays if you don't do it. So it took me a little longer to realize that I really need to like put in the time. And there's like the newer generation, like Fedor. As a newer generation, he's already retired, but like
semi
Fedor and his friends, they kind of like started with the solvers, right? So when they started with poker, they already have a really theoretical approach when I was kind of like, I don't know, old school, like figuring it out.
Right.
So that's kind of the difference, I think. Because they did it from the beginning, and for me it was like till a few years ago I started to do it like really like way more.
And how often do you when you're live or online, are you taking notes on specific hands? Is this something that you like to do where you'll like review a hand history specifically and then go back and sort of plug it in, or do you have like a group of friends that you guys review hands specifically together, or do you do more of your work on your own?
Yeah, it also changed a little bit. Nowadays I do a lot of work on my own. Back when all the Germans were grinding like every stop together, we had we talked a lot in group chats and exchanged notes on players and this kind of stuff.
Right.
Like from live tournaments, just like talked, like we just asked if someone would know that player, and then they would reply with their notes. But now there's not that many Germans grinding anymore, and it just changed a little bit. Everyone seems, maybe they got too rich, or they didn't want to, like, during the COVID situation, they didn't want to travel that much anymore. So now, I'm doing most of my work alone, I would say.
Why do you think that I would put Germany, Austria as two of the stronger countries? I guess Austria now seems like everyone's flag is Austrian, and it's a lot of those are German players. But what do you think makes the skill sets with this sort of region of the world? Like, why do you think that? Is it just because like the group that we're playing found this game and kind of work together to get better, or what specifically do you think that the Germans are regarded so well in high-end poker? German, Austria, let's put together.
Yeah, I think that's definitely how it started. Like Fedor, he had this, he came with all these amazing players like Steffen Sondheimer, Rainer Kempe, Corey Aldemir. It was all like one crew, and I kind of like, it was actually here in Cyprus as well, the first live stop, where we all like became friends when they played online, I played live, and then we like became friends here long time ago. And I think that's how it started, because this crew, like they just crushed from the beginning. They just took it so seriously. And then there were a few more players, and they all studied together every day, got really, really good. And I still think that's the reason kind of like why Germans are regarded really well. And there was also like Igor Korganov, Phil Grissom, all those guys. Like all really, really good German players.
Fabian Quas.
Exactly.
He popped out of nowhere. I saw him in that 5K WPT. He was like 3 of 12, and he just blasted in a few spots and got like 11th. But he I saw him out of nowhere come in, and just said he shows guys, obviously great player, just kind of picks it up back up out of nowhere and has good, deep runs and knows how to play the game. So
right. Yeah, he also said he kind of wants to stop playing poker and came back, and I think he lives in Vienna now too, where like almost all good players live. Right. So it's a good community there, and it is interesting, but I do think stereotypically certain areas and regions you can say on the ability, and I think that I think it's pretty common that most people would say that German, Austria is it's like if you see an unknown and that's the flag, you're kind of like, all right, guy probably has a decent understanding of the game. What is your more enjoyable places to travel and play in the world? Like, give me some of your favorite stops, whether it's from EPTs or Party Poker Champ, the series live, or Cyprus. Where is like on a schedule? Take pre-COVID, like what's like take 2015 to 17, 18. Where are you just like not missing on a year? I would always say Australia. Aussie Millions is my favorite stop. It's just so nice. The hospitality there is amazing. The country's amazing. It's a long trip, sadly, but it's always worth it. So I wouldn't miss that one anymore if they still have it, hopefully.
Right. And that's not announced for this year yet? They haven't said anything?
I don't think they're going to do it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Right. And WSOP, have you gone every year since you were able to?
I have, yes. Always for the entire time, the 7 weeks. This time is the first time I'm going to miss the first 2 weeks. But still going,
And how do you think, are you like, it's going to be different. The weather's different. It's going to be a different vibe. Do you think numbers, what do you anticipate for the main event? Do you think it'll be records or low? Where do you see it?
It's a really good question. I could see both. Because I mean, you would assume they'd be lower, because like some people that don't want to get vaccinated or don't want to play for other reasons, because I don't know, scared that something's happening. But then again, everyone's so, like, you see it here. Everyone really missed live poker,
Yeah.
and it had a big turnout here. So maybe everyone's just, I don't know, still going, and the record numbers come in.
I actually think it could hit 10,000 for the main. I think the record's like, was it 8 or something? 86. Like, I looking in Florida, what happened? It was the WPT set a record by like 25%. They had 2,500 basically in the 3,500 in April, I think. And it's like, and there was glass up even and masks, and everyone was there, and you couldn't get a seat, like late reg. And it was crazy. And I just think like that's, people want to play poker. I think they love it. Live poker it's so fun. And I think people also have kind of been, at least in the poker community, they've been saving up a bit. Like there's been, well, in the US, like there's stimulus money, and people are just like, people want to play live, they're like, they're itching for it. So I think we might see record numbers, and it's definitely going to be a different feel as well. The time of year, I think the October, November, I mean, there's NFL games, it's the Raiders are there. It's just different. Like it's not so hot. I think it'll be a fun new feel to the WSOP this year. Talk me through a little bit. Let's go back to the Hendon Mob. I mean, we can't spend the whole podcast rolling through memory lane because there is a lot. But give me, if anything jumps out during this time, like talk me through. So a second. This is so you get second in, what was this? Where was that? Right here. 6-handed. Very skilled events.
Yes.
Tell me about this. What how was this tournament, and what did it feel like to get second after 1,000 entries? You can taste the hardware. It's hard to get back, right? Like, look, it took you 8 years in a random Cosmo hotel room on the last entry to get your bracelet. Like, you never know when you're going to get it. How was this tournament, and how was this final table and heads up?
I was so disappointed. I remember that. Like we went partying afterwards. I was like trying to like pretend I was in a good mood. So, I was so sad. We actually like chopped the money too. Like we didn't even play. Oh, I'm not sure how to say that.
That's fine. No, that's no problem.
But we made some sort of deal and barely played for anything but the bracelet. And I had him all in 3 or 4 times with a better hand. And he's like such a nice guy too. He's like Chance Corner, I believe, had his action. It was also a super nice guy, and I really felt happy for him, but I was also really disappointed. So it was kind of very mixture of feelings. But I mean, a few days later, I was still very happy about the money. So it's weird. It's weird to describe. Like if you're not into poker, like you probably wouldn't understand why.
I also have a second in a World Series event, and it stings because and it's just like you can taste it. You're right there, and I tell people who play tournament poker, it's a weird way to live, because it's like you basically lose poker tournaments for a living, right? You just like to actually win. It's so hard. You look at 1,000-person field, you get second, you get third. It's like you're not even necessarily happy, even though you are. Like it's a great feeling, but you just know you're right there, so close. One flip, one right side of a cooler, or however, or 4 times, right? That's a little bit bizarre to be 4 times with the best hand game river for bracelets. Like that is.
No, I mean it wasn't like it's the best, but it was like a flip, for example.
Yeah,
it was
60-40s or 50.
What was it? I think like King Queen against deuces. Something like that, and I hit the queen on the flop. Like you're almost like tasting it.
Oh my goodness, that's salty.
This kind of stuff. It was, but then again, you have to like remember how terrible I was at poker too. Like I remember a hand with like, I think it was 7 left, and it was against Eric. And it was like I was so aggressive back then. I mean, the whole dynamic was so different, but it was like he, I think he 6-bet like. No, he 5-bet like 60%, no, like 40% of a stack or something, and I ripped 7s, and we were like both chip leaders.
Wow.
And he calls ace queen, which is like both sides are like
absurd. But that year, that was when it was like people like clicking back and forth all the time.
It's
which
like
is just
always
hilarious.
like 7-bet shove and this kind of stuff, small pairs, just because I mean I can have ace king, this kind of stuff, thinking. And there was like a ace on the flop and a 7 on the turn. That's like one of the reasons why the Germans always like scream 7s.
Yeah.
Like there were a few like these stops.
Wow.
So yeah, it was pretty bizarre how good I was running, and so you can never be really sad, like because how good you were running. But
and how do you deal with the mental side of poker with understanding variance? Because this is always interesting to me, and I think for more recreational players, how about you? It's just that much more difficult to understand how you're running in variance, because online there's you can use some trackers and try to see like where your lines are and where you're running. But how like live, like let's take, you probably have a pretty good idea, when you're just like getting not running amazing, but how do you sort of put that in perspective to like say, okay, here, look, this week in Cyprus, you don't cash the main. Maybe you were tired a bit, maybe you ran terrible. Like, how are you able to process how the results are, like, and be honest with yourself? Because you could also just run well and make the money and like think you're playing great, and you could also not and be playing great. So how do you sort of understand that? Or
really
more
tough,
so to let people know for them, because for you, you're a professional, you get it, poker, and you can do it. But how would you tell someone at home not to be too results oriented, and how do they have a real way to analyze what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, even for me, it's tough nowadays. So yeah, it's tough to give advice. But I mean, you shouldn't be so like, even if you're like, a lot of people when they bust, they say like, oh, I ran kings into aces or whatever, like was just unlucky, or the other way around. And then you should really, like, there's so many small things that you potentially have done wrong. Like I don't know, even like the different sizing or whatever on the flop could affect the outcome of the hand. And it's not about the showdowns as much as you think. Like when people tell that these histories and it was like pre-flop in or whatever, I don't think it should make that much of a difference of how you talk about your performance.
Right.
Like it should really it's more like if you're like focused and you like think about the hands, take a few seconds and make good decisions, I feel like then you should just be happy no matter what the outcome is, even though it's tough, of course. But yeah, don't put that much thought into the results would be my tip.
Right.
Like try to stay sane.
Yeah, I think that's also like your last hand's usually not the hand, because exactly, it's so easy to say, oh, I lost queens to jacks or ace king to tens, and it's like, okay, well, those hands you can't focus on those because those just play themselves. Exactly, that's how it is. You got to look at why are you folding 10-3 suited in the small blind, at this stack depth and other spots. So I think it is one of the. It's also why the game's so great, because players that maybe are really not so good can justify or sort of like say, oh, I don't know, or I'm running bad, and player, it's just kind of why the game does work. But I think that is tricky, and I know it's hard to sort of process how things are really, how you're doing, especially live, because where there's not really like a way to analyze
exactly.
much.
So. But like for me, for example, now in the cash games, there's like a lot of games added. For example, like if you win, so it's 200, 400 blinds, and if you win with 7 deuce or 8-3, you get another 1,000 per player. And this kind of stuff, I don't know how to play. So I don't know if I'm running like good, because I have a lot of like 7 deuce and 8-3 and got my bluffs through or whatever. Or if I'm actually like playing it good, I don't know. So I can't analyze that either.
I've actually never seen a 7 deuce 8-3 combo. That's actually kind of sick, because now it's like that's a lot. There's a lot of now, like every hand it's a possibility. So.
Yeah, and you don't know, like you have like every post flop analysis you're doing, you can't really like count on anymore, because like they can have every 7 deuce and 8-3 as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Are you cold, by the way? Because the air keeps coming. Do you want me to turn on? Okay. You're okay. I've got a long sleeve on your shorts, but it does feel a little cold. Guys, I want to remind you one more time here before we go. We're gonna keep looking through some results. We're gonna talk about some of these 7-figure scores that Manig has had. But I want to remind you that we are gonna do a giveaway at the end of the stream. We're gonna talk about actually NLG, the No Limit.gg as well. And here it is right here, guys. 109 ticket. Gonna get a question in if you ask. And while we're here, I got to ask, what is Swordfish 007? That's your online moniker for years, or in some of the sites. What is that referencing?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that interesting a story. It was just like it was pre-Netflix, right? So you had like physical DVDs, and when I made my PokerStars account, it was like the night before. I had some friends over, we were watching movies, and for some reason I had on my desk, I had the Password Swordfish and the some James Bond movie. So I just like was creating my account and looked over and saw like the two names and just combined it.
All right,
that's the story.
No, that's good. Listen, that's that answers questions. I was wondering. Tell me about this. What's going on here? Esports, streaming. What is the deal behind this? These a lot of familiar faces here in poker as well. What's your affiliation and what's the deal with the NLGG?
Yes, so I don't know when it was, like I would say like 2 years, maybe a bit longer. Stefan Schillhabel came, like sent us all a message, my friends and me, if you want to get involved in his new project, which kind of combines like esports and poker. Like a lot of streaming, just like having a poker team basically to promote the esports team as well.
Right.
And I mean, I looked at like who he asked, and they were like the best players in the world basically, and good friends of mine. So of course I said yes as well. I haven't really done much streaming for them, just like a few streams. But it's, yeah, I mean, it's a great project. Like I think they're going really, really hard in like the Counter-Strike streets and some other
Right.
games, and they're crushing it over there. And poker has been a little lower now. I don't think there have been that many streams. But I think if there's going to be more live poker, if they all start traveling again, I think there's going to be a lot of good content coming up.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So, and what are your thoughts on esports? Let's talk just in a blanket, esports, crypto, NFTs. What's your, do you like these things? Do you kind of dip your toes in it? It sort of runs parallel, perpendicular to poker. It's just kind of like one of those things everyone's sort of involved in some capacity or aware of it. What are your thoughts on these major categories?
Okay, esports. I gotta be honest and say I'm really clueless about. I mean, I love like watching some of it, like when they have like these filled stadiums, StarCraft players or whatever. It's amazing. It's really cool to watch, but I have no clue. I've never been good at like, any of the games
Right.
either. As far as crypto goes, I'm a huge fan, huge supporter in a lot of different currencies as well, different projects.
Luxon, of course, we got to give a shout out to Luxon.
Luxon, yeah. So soon to be with crypto, right?
Yes, they have it. It's part of it. You can exchange with CoinRibbit and Luxon. You can have crypto and move it in and out. So
yeah, that's huge, for sure. And NFTs, yeah, are my new big hobby, I would say. I got really obsessed with NFTs a while ago and started investing a lot. And really enjoying the process. Yeah,
nice.
It's kind of like the beginning of poker, like getting better at it.
I see this.
Some mistakes.
This is a crypto punk right here. We both were sharing our love of our. We got our as avatars. What got you? Who got you into? Because the idea of this, where this was, for those that don't know about crypto punks, they were given away. I think June 2017. The company, I think Larva Labs, kept like 1,000. They made 10,000. Gifted basically, or put them out into the world 9,000. They were essentially free. Now I think the floor, I mean, its range was 450K for the minimum as early as a month ago. I think it's around 270 to 300. It's kind of fluctuates. The thoughts about $300,000 for a JPEG right now. Well, it's got to be, I mean, talk about family, friends getting their head around poker. Like this has got to be a bit like, what do your parents say? Are they even aware? Like do they understand what these are? Have you talked to them about it?
I have just recently. My girlfriend, I visited my parents, when was it? Like 3-4 weeks ago, in France. And I told him I bought a JPEG for 75K and a bunch of other investment. And I thought they're gonna say I'm crazy, but they actually like kind of get it. So,
right.
My dad, especially, like he was really curious about it. So he wanted to know like about all the other punks, like what the difference. Of course, they're still like really skeptical. I mean, every sane human being would be. But yeah, again, really supportive. Interestingly,
that's cool.
But it is super crazy. Yeah. It was. Obviously, everyone wishes they would have gotten in earlier. I think like in March, I talked with some friends about it, and I tried to convince them to like, I think it was like 30K floor back then. Yeah. To like chop one that we all put in 10K and get like a third each, but I didn't want to, and so I kind of. They said like, oh, you're gonna feel so stupid if it goes down 90%. and, so they kind of talked me out of it. But then Timex, Mike McDonald,
of course,
I talked to him. And I was still kind of convinced it's probably a good idea, even though my friends didn't want to. And then I did it at some point. I just had to do it and put in 75K, as I said. So it was a bit higher already. But so far it's going well. But who knows?
It does seem like this is sort of the blue chip ones, and they did a really good job in the marketing on it, and just how it's sort of like Bitcoin within the crypto, where it's just kind of everyone sort of understands and is adopting that. But there are, I mean, I've seen some crazy ones like the carpets and the rocks, and you saw Timex speaking to him. He did put a tweet out that he would. You saw this about like it was rock being in the Louvre. Did you see the bet he offered?
Yes. Oh, is it happening?
He basically offered to people. He said, "Look, I'll pay you whatever right now, and if it ever goes into the Louvre, you get to pay me 10x. So obviously you have to trust another person. But he would literally say, you tell it, look, give him 100. He'll let you tell him 10x. I'll bet you he'll send you $100,000. And then if it ever goes in the Louvre, you got to send him $1 million or whatever, 10x to. And the thing is though, so actually my brother-in-law, he gifted the first ever CryptoPunk, I guess, NFT to a museum, and it was in Miami, and it was displayed. So it was around when it was like 40K, and he gifted one. And in CIA, I think it is in Miami. I forget the name exactly, but it's on the. He gifted the first one, and that was when I saw the Timex thing. I was like, oh, it's smart because listen, the rocks are $1 million now, or $400,000. Like just they have a little section of the Louvre, and they put like a digital thing, and now he makes like 50 million off of a gift. So I don't mean to ruin his action, but I wouldn't take him up on that. I think I like his. I
don't think you're ruining it.
Yeah, like his checks. You like his chances. All right, let's go back through a bit more of the stuff. So you the Hendon Mob, you go here, you're playing 2013, 14. You're grinding. You're literally traveling around WSOP. Another good run. Oh, yeah. So you get close. What would you say would be your significant kind of breakout score where it went from like, all right, I'm playing the stakes cash games, I'm playing online, I'm traveling the world, into like, all right, now I'm going to be playing higher. My average buy-in's higher. Where was your like breakout score that took you to a new level of play and buy-ins? What was a score, like a signature one for you at the time?
I mean, like in the beginning, I would actually probably call the first one, like I won one of the first European Masters. I think like the second one. Which one was it?
This one.
Maybe
right here.
Third one. Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of like the start, because then exactly. That was when I cashed in WSOP main before and then won this one. So I had like a decent bankroll after. And I think that was really the start. And I didn't really I never went broke or anything after that. But I was also kind of nitty. I was like selling action, even though I had some money at that point. I think it was only like the first 2 10Ks or something I played on own money, even though I had like maybe 30, 40K bankroll.
Oh, wow.
Because I won satellites. So. And then, from that point, I don't think there was any like other really big score that changed my life. I wouldn't say. I mean, I was kind of always selling some action. I guess. When the super high roller started, that's a good one. I think that was the first one where a friend told me. Was it the first one? He would take action in the 50K, if I'm not mixing it up.
I think this is a 50K.
Yeah. And then I got third with Fedor and Steve. So that was the start.
How good is we'll talk Fedor. Yeah. He's been on the podcast, and he obviously is, I think him, Dan Coleman, Justin Bonwell maybe have the 3 like dominant periods of time. No, thank you. Good service here. They come. They give you the mini bars. They're checking. They're doing this stuff. All right. So Steve O'Dwyer, he's here. I actually don't know him very well. And you've played with him, battled a bunch, I'm sure, and actually Carl Burns as well. He's been on the podcast and a great player. What is like? Talk me through some of these guys, like the difference when you see like these guys. Like, what separates you guys like at this level? Like these 4, right? Like when you guys know frequencies, you've studied, you guys have your own methodology, but is there much between separating at this level? Because like it put you guys in the top 0.05%, one, like the top players in the world. What is the advantages? Like what kind of, don't give me a specific like on a player, but like is he weak? Is it, I guess what I'm trying to say is where is there something to give here? Like who's got the edge in a spot like this? Like when you guys are like the highest level.
Oh, you mean like when it's the 4 of us left?
Yeah. For example, like is there much like do you think Steve is like, well, I'm the best player left, and Fedor's like, I'm the best player? Are you like, wow, like I have an advantage here, I'm gonna win? Like, is it at that level? Is it just like mutual respect and look, we all know how to play, anything can happen? Or do you think like legitimately is someone just like have some advantages here?
I mean, I'm not sure about them, but in that lineup at the time, I was definitely the worst player by far. Probably now too. I guess Steve and Fedor have big confidence. So does Kale.
But like what, like, so tell me
And
what is it something as if they've done maybe more deep work in certain spots, like their heads up game even might be more like more advanced, or shorthanded game they're doing more work on, like what, just tell me, like, you know, if you're watching at home and you see those names, scary, like you get there, you know, in a tournament, the EVs are generated by, I guess, like players that are not very good, or recreationals, right? They enter in a high buy-in. So now there's a pool, there's some money that's sort of around and available, but like, I don't know, how would you kind of dissect that when you're looking at like players at the level?
Yeah, if you go to the super high rollers, it's always the person who ran the most sims is the best player. I think you can generalize like that. In live poker setting, obviously, there's I remember in this lineup especially, there was some spots where some players were a little less like life grinders, like they had some life tells. I'm not talking about these three, obviously.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of that's going on in live poker. I think like it's a huge edge to have if you have like even a little tell on someone, and that's reliable,
right?
And you factor in your decisions. Kale, for example, during that time, I think he barely played any tournaments, but he was a cash game crusher, and you really could feel like how he's studying tournaments at the time. I mean, that was a few years ago. Now he's obviously one of the best tournament players as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really like if there's no tells to be seen, like if you cover your neck or whatever, then it's only like who makes the better decisions in the certain spots. And if you know ICM, like some people, they enjoy like winning more than like winning a trophy more than winning money, so they don't care about ICM that much. So that's a big factor in
and that has to be like when you said you guys are sharing notes and stuff, this is something like you got in a field, you know, like players, you're like, look, this guy, he wants the final table, this guy you know, values his life, this exactly, these matter in spots where you're like, all right, I'm going to shove blind on blind a little wider, or I'm going to call off a little wider, and these things. I mean, this is where I guess, you know, it really helps to have notes and understanding on players, because you can change a little. Maybe someone has a little more crypto than the other, and their things change. But like ultimately, you do have like people are who they are. Like you can't really just like snap overnight and like, all right, this guy's a maniac, you know. So that's interesting. And and typically in this type of spots, are there deals done, or it just depends? Like some guys don't like deals, some guys are always going to deal, obviously friendship wise and what you believe is ability wise. Like how do these typically go in like the high rollers?
Yeah, I don't think well, I didn't make a deal in this one, didn't have any swaps either, but in general there's a lot of like action swapping, deal making. Like even if there's no official deal, sometimes you like lock in the chips, and if you trust the person, you can just put out some money maybe, to have less stress about it. And trying to keep the swaps small so they don't affect your decision obviously is a big part, like ethical part, I feel like. And I remember like also Steve asking Fedor if he had action of me, and when we had 3 left, because that would like potentially change something, but no one had any action, so he knew there's something going on.
How does like Steve, who I actually don't know that much about his game, we've played a few times, but you know, the guy just like he comes, wins at 25K. He just like seems to be so great. What would be something like attribute wise, do you think on his game, like that is just like, what does he do? Is also just like salt, like from your understanding, is it because he's just done so much work and he just understands the game through and through, or what makes him so good?
I mean, he's just a super intelligent guy. I know there was a lot of beef between some Germans and him, or like other players and him, because he was maybe not as he didn't play as GTO as other players for a while, at least. But I think people underestimated him for a while. I think he's just a great player, and he's maybe like a little less, I don't know, approachable than others. I would maybe call it like that. It's just having less conversations at the table. I wouldn't say like, I don't know how many sims he runs, but I think he runs a lot.
Right. He knows how to play. He's not a guy you like seeing on your table draw for sure. He's not making a lot of mistakes. Very cool. And so that's a big score. Was that your biggest score at the time?
Yes, I believe so.
Or somewhere in, I think I was scrolling pretty quick, but so 500K, it's a nice one. And when did you sort of like jump up from 10Ks into like 25s, 50s, 100s? What period of time was it when you started to really play the highest buy-ins?
So yeah, I think it was 2015 or when it was the first 50K for sure, because I remember someone asking me to play. I only wanted to play cash and some smaller stuff there, but he convinced me, and then I was running good there. And then I think a year later, I think you got it there.
Well, here's a big one,
exactly,
the biggest
that's
one.
The one where I was in Vegas, and the same friend, he told me, they're gonna have a super high roll, like 100K, like a 1 million Hong Kong, which is like 125K USD, in Montenegro if I wanted to play. I said, yeah, of course. And then I flew to Montenegro, and first bullet just ran like God again and won it. So that was a good score.
And what was that like to win? Because I mean, again, so 500K score, big, it's exciting. You've hit some big scores, even maybe spots where I don't know, like what percent and whatever, but like 2 million, this is a signature win, right? This is big. Like, what was that feeling like when you took down that trophy in a cool place in the world, highest buy-in, highest score you have? Tell me a little bit how that actually, what was that experience?
Yeah, I think that's still one of my favorite wins for sure. It's just, I mean, the Triton tournaments, them, like their best production, the whole team. And this one, it wasn't televised, actually. It was before.
Oh, this was not on TV?
It was not on TV, no. But, I mean, these guys are legends. Like, and then being heads up with Richard as well, was like one of the founders.
Yeah.
It was a big sweat. I knew I couldn't really make a deal because, I thought I had the advantage heads up. And it was a big, as you see, 700K heads up. It was really, really big for me. And then also in the guy with action in me, of course, I didn't want to let him down either. So very big sweat. Having Stefan at the final table, I mean, I was kind of happy, even though he's a really, really good friend of mine. Kind of happy that he busted because he's such a good player. I mean, I wouldn't say that happy actually, but it was good for me.
You knew the likelihood of winning goes up when that.
And John Joanna is a huge legend as well. He's really, really good. I mean, the whole lineup was pretty incredible. The Greek guy is like a famous singer. Who was it with? I don't want to mess anything up, but he's really famous in Greece. In Mykonos, he's having a huge concert. But he wasn't a poker player, so recreational. But then you also have Mikita, who's obviously maybe the best right now. So it was a crazy fun table, and I think I played really, really well on that one. I don't always say that, but like this one just felt like I make a lot of right decisions.
Nice.
So
how does that impact you in a spot like that? Because I think no matter what, it's true for anyone, because there's a wide range in buy-ins, right? Like whether it's online, you're playing $200 Sunday Million or whatever, up to 25K once in a while, or 10K is online, and same live. Like here, you're playing. What was it? So what was the conversion? That was
125K USD.
Okay, so when you click in like a 5K Cyprus main event versus a 125K buy-in, like what is that feeling like for you? And do you find that you play exactly or almost exactly the same, or is it like a spot where like, all right, I could jam this or min raise, or it's a little less variance? Do you find yourself? You see what I'm saying? Do you play like the same always, or does it affect you a little when it's like such a large buy-in? Do you deviate slightly in certain spots, do you think?
I mean, I'm really trying to play the same. I also really enjoy main events. It's just like really fun to me, playing these like huge fields. But in the super high rollers, when there's only like 40, 50 people, you just play a little differently. I don't think anyone would say they're playing 100% the same. You're just like super dialed in, I think. And in main events, sometimes, I don't know, maybe you're joking around a little more.
Or there's a cash game. If you get knocked out, that's good.
Yeah. For example, I don't know if I played the main here so great because I knew like in the back of my head, maybe if I bust, I can still play the cash kind of stuff. And that's not. I mean, there were good cash games as well, but it's still different. Like you don't want to like punt 125K ever.
Right. Yeah. Right. And tell me a little bit about poker in the moment with the tanking, because this is something that what's his name?
Jordan Crystals?
Yes.
Actually.
Go ahead. No, and Vogel saying like with that kind of stuff up, because like you mentioned earlier, if you can't really get reads, and listen, I'm wearing a mask here, and I was like, almost, even though it was a little bit loose, right? Like it wasn't like they were enforcing like you have to have it up all the time, but it is kind of like you're hiding a bit. You feel like it's just easier to look at people, and like you can kind of whatever. So what's your takes on these things, tanking and covering yourself? You know, I know Negreanu has been vocal, almost saying like people shouldn't maybe be allowed to wear sunglasses or whatever, because it makes the point though, like if you're a professional and you can have an advantage that's totally legal, like why would you not wear like a you know thing? So I get arguments on both sides. I'm more interested on the tanking, but let's start with the covering of yourself.
I mean, I love Christoph. He's a good friend and really good guy. I do think it's a little out of line to go like to cover everything. It's just like it doesn't. For me, it's like poker still like a social game. Right?
Yeah, like etiquette.
If you especially if you play like 100Ks and you're like, I mean, like if you like a lot of people think like if someone's like a rich businessman or whatever, like they're not good at poker, they're like, I don't know, kind of stupid or whatever. But like exactly the opposite is the case. Like usually they became rich because they're obviously smart people, right? So they can see like when someone's like doing this kind of stuff, I don't know, trying to take advantage in like in every single small spot. I don't think it's good for the game at all. That's my main reasoning why I wouldn't ever wear a scarf or any covering. I think it's like you should be like on the same, like not try to take advantage in these small spots if you don't have to, because you're already probably a better poker player than recreational, and why would you go that far? Like
it's sort of it's not very welcoming, right? It just kind of feels like it has a weird feel, and you see a lot of people make jokes about it or do stuff. And I've heard he's what's up guys? Yeah, we are in Northern Cyprus right now at the Merit, really cool spot. So I know again, this is live on Twitch. We'll upload it to YouTube. It'll be on all the audio outlets. It's early. Where I'm from, I know there's some Europeans over here watching, so welcoming everyone. But we are live and we are in Cyprus, and then this again will be up on YouTube very shortly, and then the audio outlets. But okay, so yeah, I think aligned on that. I think there's a difference in again. There's different levels to it, right? If it's like, all right, you have glasses on, okay, or a hat or whatever, like hat's okay, but you start going full cover, it feels a bit much. But again, if you listen, it's big money, and if you want to do your best, and I don't know, it's kind of tricky, right? It's a tricky spot for sure.
I mean, I wouldn't tell them not to do it. Obviously it's within the rules and it's fine, but I personally think it's like you want to make it fun. Like if you again, like if a recreational plays poker, he's probably doing it to have a good time. And if you have big headphones on and have your hoodie over your face and stuff, like you're not really like making anything to have a fun conversation or like trying hard to like help them.
And the other side too then is tanking, because this is something that you know, I was having fun. It was like the last event I played, a 1600, and the table, you know, it's like everyone's like snap playing, and it's like the attitude was just like, hey, let's play fast, because it's again a fine line, because you want to take your time, you want to be professional, you want to like think about things, but you also want to be respectful. And of course, there's a lot of area on that, and like shot clocks come in now, but even with the shot clocks, like it's not fun either. It's like, and sometimes it could actually maybe slow down more, because it's like, oh, this guy's like, I'm going to take 20 seconds every single second and do it. So like, what do you think on this stuff? Because it's nice if it's fast and everyone just played like turbo and thing, but it is big money in these high rollers, and you know, there is like a fine line there. So how do you sort of do that for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays I'm a huge believer in just playing as fast as possible. Like obviously try to think about your spots. And I've been different like a few years ago. I've definitely been kind of out of line, I would say. Like in satellites, for example, I would tank long to try to save the seat. Obviously it's just like money in your pocket basically if you take longer. But now I feel like I'm grown up a little bit and understand better. That's important to like play as fast as possible. For like if everyone would decide on doing that, it would be so much more enjoyable, right? If there's no tanking, then like not to call him out, but I think Jordan Christus is like really famous kind of for like taking as much time as possible, also like maybe to tilt people, and I think it's really bad for the game in the long run. And he's also gotten better. Like maybe I shouldn't even say his name, but in general. I think tanking is terrible for poker.
Yeah, because I felt it here. Like I was in a table in the main event on day 2, and it is a thing, because I got moved, and all of a sudden I don't know what's going on. I'm at a new table, and like sure enough, it was just like this kid would take like, you know, a minute on each street, and it's like, but I could like actually feel myself getting upset. and I wasn't even the hand. And it's just like, so it is actually like a strategically kind of a thing where you kind of like, it's also feels like a little scarier, right? Like, oh, this guy's processing the thing and the PO in his head, and he's doing this stuff, and it's like all this thing. So it's like, it just, I don't know, but I think there's something there. I don't know the right thing. I think ultimately, luckily, most people do play fairly quickly, but like I have seen it where it does it ruins like the enjoyment, especially in the high rollers too. It's so exciting, the prizes are so big, the spots are so exciting, but when it's like you're just sitting there waiting for like people to act every time, it's tricky. So I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I do think the shot clock, big blind ante, these things have really helped the game move faster. It's been good, and I think that all in all things are pretty good, but I do think there's room to improve still.
Right. I feel like in the future, I think some stuff actually has done it already. Maybe it was Triton. It's going to be some sort of shot clock where you have like less time pre-flop, maybe like 10 seconds pre, then 20 seconds post, and then more on the river or something like that. I think that could be kind of a solution for that. Because pre-flop, like if you really tank like 1 minute and then decide to fold, it feels really silly, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's very, very crazy. So yeah, I agree with that. All right, let's do one more tournament visit. Well, maybe two more. I want to do World Series. We'll just take a look at the numbers. But like this 5,300 EPT main, Monte Carlo. I mean, this is a big one. Almost 1,000 runners, $5 million purse, and this was in 2019. So not too long ago, especially when we're talking the last, like a year and a half has been removed essentially. So you tell me about this. Yeah. What went right? How did this go down? Actually, I remember a pretty famous hand, Ryan Reese. Was that with you? Yeah. Was it? Yeah, he called like 10 high or something, or something weird. Yeah. But when it was broken down, it wasn't that crazy. Tim Adams, obviously legend as well. Some big names here. Victor as well. Victor, Sam Greenwood. A lot of great players down the stretch here. So tell me what happened. How did you win? And how did this feel compared to some other stuff? Just like the smaller buy-in for a huge score. ROI ridiculous. Obviously, have 100. You got all your action. No question at this level. And how is this in your comparison? Your career?
Swaps, but no, it was a huge score. It felt amazing. It was actually because like 12 years ago we watched the EPT on DVDs. Back then it was like Dortmund and some other EPTs. Like it was so prestigious for us. Maybe more than a bracelet for a while at least.
Yeah.
I really always wanted to win EPT, and it feels, I don't know if it is, but it feels a lot tougher to win one than like other, because there's they didn't have any EPT online or something until recently at least, and just way fewer. I don't know. Sorry, when you have like bracelet events like 40, 50 a year or something at the time, and then maybe 5 EPTs or what it is. So it just felt a lot tougher.
It is. I mean, there's less. That's the scarcity there, right? It's like CryptoPunks. It's hard to get it. Hard to get it done. So tell me about the Reese hand as well and what went down, because I don't remember exactly, but I just remember something like blind on blind and like 10 high, or after the flop 10 high, or what happened there?
I mean, he just made a really great call, and I already knew this. I already said something like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna look so stupid on YouTube because I think people are gonna talk about it." But it wasn't that crazy of a call.
That's right. When it was broken down, it seemed like almost like he had to call.
Right. Yeah. I didn't really expect him to fold 10 high at the time. I was kind of bluffing it. I mean, I didn't have an opinion on it, but I was trying to get him off split pots mainly. And also because he's like kind of famous for making these like 7 high, 8 high calls. I also mentioned it after the hand. It wasn't that crazy for me. It didn't tilt me. Like people thought, oh yeah, he's gonna get tilted and like blast it off now. But it was fine for me. He's a great player, and it was a great call. It was kind of, so we had 6.5. He had 6.5 big blinds to start a hand with. So to keep it in perspective, like I limp pre-flop and then check flop and turn, and I shoved river. So it wasn't like I triple barreled or something.
Was it at the time you were chip leader though, or had
I was big chip leader. I was very aggressive, and I was kind of like trying to win all the pots. There's also like another I ran a few bluffs against him.
Oh, was there a deal? It must be a deal then, right? Okay, I was gonna say how could he? So how's he? That's a massive jump though. Between fourth and third, so there was a deal. That was like, that doesn't make sense. But in hindsight though, if you shove that spot, like he's calling, would he have called? or how many, like, was there some other short stacks, or was he the shortest?
No, he would have folded. He was the shortest. So I had 6 deuce. He had 10 deuce.
Okay.
So I would never shove the 6 deuce. Even the limp is kind of optimistic already. It's just because of the big blind any and 4 left.
Right.
It plays bigger, so I think it's fine for me to limp.
Yeah.
I think I actually like played the hand fine, even with the assumptions I had. Obviously, it looks kind of stupid to get called by 10 high, but I think it was still fine. And it wasn't as big of a pot as everyone made it out to be.
Right. Yeah, no, it got like a lot of attention.
Yeah,
but
I think he won like the hand of the year or something with that GPI. Maybe I'm mixing something up, but I believe it was that.
Right.
I was just
More importantly, though, yeah. So I want, like, you're crushing that tournament.
Yeah.
Where did you kind of get accelerated to be in the lead? Like, was it 2 tables, or did you have it for the last day?
I feel like it was like maybe like 20 left, where I won a huge pot against the other chip leader. And from that point it was fairly smooth. I wasn't the chip leader to start the final table or anything. I think it was like 4th in chips. But I just won a lot of pots. I mean, the first hand I busted the short stack, like 7s against 8, ace 3, and won a bunch of other pots, and just everything went my way. Kind of like a huge bluff went through against Ryan, or maybe not huge, but a good bluff.
Right.
And yeah, everything went according to plan. And then, yeah, as you said, 3 left. They were kind of pushing for a deal the whole time, actually. When Ryan busted, and I said no. And I said, like, yeah, we shouldn't waste time on because I would want way more than ICM. Victor is actually a really good online player, but I haven't really, like, he didn't have much life experience, and I thought I had an advantage. And the other guy was a Chinese recreational who actually played really fearless as well, really well. But yeah, I said I didn't want to make a deal, but then he said, no, let's look at numbers. And it was like a super long deal discussion. It was actually really annoying for the viewers, probably. I think it was more than an hour or something. So,
wow. I'm shocked they let you guys do that.
Yeah, and I said no, because it was weird. I said, like, in the beginning, I didn't want to do it, like, unless I get way more, and then we decided on the deal, and then Victor said something, no, I want 5K more, or something stupid like that too. I was like really tilted. I said, no, let's just play. And then the Chinese guy offered him the 5K too, and just like gave everyone way more money than ICM was. And then I said, yeah, okay, let's do that and play for, I don't know what it was, 100K or 70K or something,
right.
And the trophy. And then it was a very long heads up, very long 300 as well. It's just, I think the final table was like 15 hours, 16 hours.
No way.
Yeah.
What time I finished? Like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or something?
I think it was like 3 a.m. maybe. And then I had a flight at 6 a.m. So
wow.
barely made it. Yeah.
Wow.
To Cyprus again.
Wow. Very cool. That had to be nice, though. You had to be tired and happy.
Yeah, I was passing out on the plane. I know my friend Ayla Lee, she booked like flights for us because I didn't have anything. Like, we just said we were going to Cyprus, and then she said, oh, yeah, I have a flight for you too.
Wow.
And then we all went to Cyprus.
Very cool.
It was a very good night. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you didn't really get to party then, but you kind of came, slept, and then had a good time.
Played some here, and then we partied for, I don't know, a week straight.
Very, very cool. Yeah. Well, we got I see some people in the chat asking about online. Yes, he does. The nickname is Swordfish007. We covered why and where that came from. We are going to give you guys, again, a chance to ask some questions, and pretty soon we will do this giveaway. Actually going to reload this here and check it out. You guys are a lot of questions I think we've covered, but we'll try to take some down the stretch here and give you guys a chance to win this 109 ticket. If you're in the live chat, you can ask as well, but we will read some of this. And again, kind of zooming through, let's go back one more event, the World Series. You covered it. You said you won it. This was recently in the what was this? Okay, some more scores, good scores. So yeah, some big scores. There's the main event, and then let's just skipping 6-figure scores. Like, it's nothing, but we're gonna go to online. So wait, would this have counted? Would this? Oh shit! Would this have counted for? Was this on the trophy?
Please don't remind
No,
me.
Really? Yeah. This the knockout one counts. I didn't know that. I don't remember.
Would have counted, yeah.
Oh my god! This guy was like a qualifier, or something. I think he wanted to see. Yeah. What happened here? Tell me. I don't want to just tell me what's the deal. So this is a W. This is a triple crown. This was for you
Well,
technically.
yeah, it was before the WSOP, but yeah, it would
Yeah.
have been, yeah.
So what was this like online? And how do you approach knockouts too? Do you feel like it seems like something I think people play so absurd because there's like Raise Your Edge bounty course, there's other bounty work, but people, so it's hard to know. Like sometimes you see the absurd things like, oh, that's probably terrible, but actually maybe with the bounties it's not.
Yeah.
So how much work have you done on bounties, and what was this tournament like?
I mean, I'm definitely not great. That's Ryan Reese again too.
Jeez.
I'm not the best at bounties. Like I wouldn't pretend to be. But obviously, like on the final tables, depending on, I mean, they still have the bounties where it's not progressive, right? So like on the final tables, it's completely irrelevant at some point.
Right.
In this one, yeah, it obviously matters a lot because some bounties are huge. You kind of have to gamble for it. I've done content on it, and yeah, as you said, some stuff looks really weird, but makes a lot of sense in the bounty tournaments. Just like calling it off a lot wider, especially in multi-way all-ins as well, which you wouldn't expect.
It's actually fun. I think if anything, it makes it less like the online. The fact about bounties is it recycles a lot of money. People that are buying in, they're getting back some portion of their money. So I think it actually is really good for poker and keeps. It just recycles things a bit more. It also makes it a little more fun. It's less intense. There's a lot of all-ins and variance as well. It's definitely cool. So, but yeah, so a bummer. Like heads up, were you a chip leader? Was it a?
Yeah, again, I was all in with 8s against King 10, but he won the flip, and then I don't know, there were a few more bigger hands. He played well. I actually never watched the analysis that Ike Hexton did because I feel like I messed up a few hands for sure. There was one big call I made for the win at least as well, where he overbet shoved the river. I was like fairly confident he could have bluffed, but probably in retrospect he never has bluffed there. So I called it off anyways and was wrong. And yeah, I think there were a few hands that I would have played better, but then again I was just running super hot to get second place in such a big tournament. It's huge. It was a big score as well for a 3K. Like if you cash for like 90 binds or whatever, it was huge. But yeah, losing the heads up was so frustrating. Maybe the most frustrating heads up I lost. Because I really thought, like at no point I thought I was losing. It was really like I was very confident. I thought I'm gonna win for sure and get like WPT. It was a bit frustrating, but it was a really fun tournament. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, the knockouts, the big knockouts online are great, and it seems to be people really love them now. So it's getting very popular.
Yeah, they should have it again.
Yeah, let's take a look now at the WSOP, which was recently. So this is kind of a bit surprising. I think you wouldn't think you were in summer. There's no WSOP going on. Is this even when you're in Vegas? Were you here for part of this reason? Did you just happen to be there? Like, were you going there to play some online stuff, or what was the reason you were there?
No, so we were in Mexico. We only wanted to go for like a few weeks in Mexico, and then we just kind of fell in love with the place and stayed for I think 4 months.
Is that Tulum area? Or
was it
Tulum?
In Tulum? Well, in the beginning, my girlfriend looked up some places like some islands like Holbox and Isla Mujeres and other places close to Tulum. I knew nothing about it. We just like went there and wanted to have.
Yeah, Tulum's a very cool place.
Yeah, and then we spent time in Tulum, spent New Year's in Tulum, and then went to Playa del Carmen because my friends told me they're gonna go there. And then it was amazing. Like it was really good time. Played soccer every second day or whatever. So much going on. A lot of partying. They played way more online than me. I didn't. I don't know. I felt more like hanging out. Played a little bit. And then some other friends told me, "Oh, we're going to Vegas. Why don't you come?" And then went to Vegas and stayed there for 4 months, which we never thought we would.
4 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was just good. Like a lot of good live games. Well, we stayed for like 3, and then the other WSP online came up, so I said, "Okay, can't leave now."
Right.
So stayed another one, and it was actually really fun because I played the live cash games. Also played some tournaments. I think it was WPT and some other stuff during the same time. And then later in the day, I went to the room, ordered some nice food, and played online. It was very enjoyable life.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So there you go. Almost a triple crown right there. You can see literally could taste it, and yeah, you'll be shooting them. Is that something? Will you actually go and hunt some of these WPTs? It's a little hard, right? Because it's in the US. But will you look around and try to get to more of those then? Or
I probably wouldn't go just for the main event, but if there's like I don't know, Choctaw, or what's a good example, like place where I haven't been yet. They probably have good cash games running as well. And if I can combine it, then for sure I would go to almost every stop. And yeah, also depending like what else is going on. But I really want to win one.
Yeah, very cool. Well, let's guys, we have covered a lot. We're going to take some questions. We want to give this 109 ticket out. So we're going to go over here. And if you guys want to ask questions, it's not too late. Right now I see some more coming in. So let's kind of run through as much as we can. This one, I'll let you answer. We are in Cyprus at the moment, guys. So that's that. Poker in the near future, what type of things do you think might change, whether it's from solvers or reasons why poker might become more or less popular? What are some things coming up?
Very good question. Deep question as well. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen. I would think live tournaments are coming back really, really strongly in the next years because everyone's so eager to play right now. I'm a little worried about online with like all the bots and everything going on. I mean, of course, most of the sites have good security and they fight against it. But there's also like, real-time solvers, all these problems that could come up, and they're probably gonna get better and better. So yeah, that's I'm not sure what's happening online. I hope it's getting figured out. Maybe against the ghosting problems, maybe webcams could be. I think GG actually had these like snap cams. I think that's actually a great idea. Also, Richard Young showed me that for his app. Like when you just can click a button and see who's playing against you, just like for 1 second, just to confirm that it's a real person. I think that's that could be a great change. Stuff like that, and then I think a lot of televised stuff is gonna happen. People love watching poker. I mean, you see how many shows they're having right now in the US, like cash games. I think it's gonna be more and more of that. And I see a positive future for poker in general.
Very, very, very cool. I think the same. Same thing. I think the outlook is good. Favorite regular online MTT? What's one during normal times? What's one you just like to play on Sundays?
I actually like the $11 on party, like the knockout, just because it's like a good like low buy-in, but it's quick. It's a really fast structure because I'm getting old. I don't like these like ACR structures where you play when you're in Europe, you play till like 10 a.m. So.
That's a good thing you remind me. I have a day 2 of that today.
The Venom actually is a fun one. Though.
Yeah, that is a fun one, but especially the knockout version, which it is in there. So that is it's good and bad. It's nice to have good structures, but it does take a long time. Future of online poker in Germany.
I'm the wrong person to ask because I left Germany like 12 years ago, but it's looking terrible from what I heard. I think like all the regulations, there's some new tax which makes it basically unbeatable, I think, for German players to play there. So yeah,
it's crazy. Like it's crazy the world. Like I'm in the US. My home base is Miami. It's just it's unfortunate. You can't live where I want to live and just do why like daily fantasy is legal. People can sports bet. Right. It's like it just doesn't make sense. But hopefully it ends up getting shifted and figured out. But it's just like I remember when Black Friday happened. I never thought 10 years later. Like first of all, I didn't know I'd be in poker 10 years later, but I never thought that like the US just wouldn't have it. So it's a little frustrating that Germany and US, who are both relatively forward thinking and have even sports, right? Like sports in Germany, it's legal to bet sports, right? So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's really confusing.
For sure. There's what's up, Tic Tac UFO? Good to see you. We did talk about online. What's up, Devi in the chat? I played with him even in low mid stakes. He seems to love the game. Yeah. You what's the lowest buy-ins you'll play online?
I play everything. I really enjoy playing lower buy-ins at times. I mean, I played like a 400 Venetian and stuff like that sometimes when I feel like it. Right. Online, probably like a $50 would be my lowest. yeah, I wouldn't always play them, but when I feel like it, or maybe like the turbo or whatever.
Yeah.
I play.
Yeah, it's fun. And we covered this a bit earlier, but Craig Leonard is here asking about the live event series festival. Do you rather that experience or the online experience with which more volume and the comfort? What's the preference?
My preference would be live, but it's obviously a good point that you play like I don't know 16 tables online and just one live plus like faster hands. So yeah, it's just very different, but I still prefer live.
Chris Robertson is asking about the one comfort of home that you always have with you on your poker travels. Is there something that you bring with you that you just like, maybe it's not convenient to bring, or shake, protein stuff, like something you just like gotta have with you on the road, even though it's not normal to bring?
Yeah. I mean, proteins would probably be it. I don't have any, I don't know, Lucky Charm or anything that I always need to bring. But yeah, maybe some snacks, like depending on the stop where you go to. But yeah, that's about it, I think.
And online chess. Do you play chess or backgammon, any other games like this?
I don't at all. I used to play a little chess when I was a kid, but I feel like I would love it when I played it right now. But I feel like it would take so much time of my time, and I feel like the day doesn't have enough hours,
For sure.
And some of my friends got so addicted to chess, they play like 10 hours a day now, and I feel like I would be the same. So I'm trying not to play right now.
Right.
But if I play less poker, or I have like less other stuff to do, I definitely gonna pick up chess.
And will you play the WSOP, the soccer, the World Cup? Do you play that this year?
I haven't so far, but I would love to. This
so
time,
fun, man.
Yeah.
You gotta do it. I think November 5th is that day. And if you guys are going to be in Vegas and you play and you are you can play no matter what, but I think there's like usually 12 to 16 countries. It's a lot of fun. And Timothy Adams and Byron put that on and organize it, and definitely a cool event. Or even come watch if you're in the Vegas area. I think Germany won 1 year. They've had a couple good runs. We've won twice, and it's like it's just like so exciting. It really is that good. It's right around the main event.
No, I don't know why I never made it so far. I really wanted to, but I feel like I was deep in some tournaments and some other stuff. Always something came up, so I kind of regret that for sure.
And longest session. What's your longest poker session, Cash?
My longest session, I believe it's like almost 50 hours. In Macau.
Shit, that's a long. I've done 36 a few times, and that's tough. 48 is that's serious stuff. Hope it was profitable. Probably was a good game, I would imagine, to stay up 2 days.
I mean, a bit about Macau, right? Like you kind of have to put in the long hours, otherwise you never get invited back.
Right. They want.
So 32 hours is standard.
It's crazy. 10 years. What do you see going on with you? Where are you at in 10 years?
Man, I have absolutely no idea what's happening in 10 years. I don't know. I would assume I'd probably started a family by then. A lot of talk about it right now. Probably settle down somewhere. Right now I'm trying to like have places in different places of the world, like buy some real estate, and then probably settle on one and only use the other ones for vacation homes. So that's the plan right now. I hope it works out. But in 10 years, I mean, there's so much that can happen. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. That's hard. 10 weeks is a good. Good outline. How much has poker changed your life in terms of money earned, but in terms of lifestyle, so as job activities just before start playing poker pro? Yeah. So let's take that. What were you doing before you played poker?
Well, I never really had a job. In Germany it's a lot different. The school system's different. As in, you either do 9, 10, or 13 years of school, depending on which school you go to. And if you do 13, you can go directly to uni. So I kind of promised my parents to finish the 13 years, to have all options. And then, so I did that. But then I decided not to go to uni. And you either choose if you go to the army or to do like a social year, something like that. So I did the social year. And had a job there basically for 9 months, for a year actually, and then directly moved to London to play poker.
Nice, very nice. Okay. What's the record number of bullets that you fired in a tournament, live or online?
I believe it's 6 in the Barcelona 10K. I think that's my record.
Wow. Yeah. And so it must be a mixture of things going wrong, right? Just not running well, but also was there some pushing of action?
I mean, I think like the structure, to be fair, forced it a little bit because it was like really fast. I think they changed it afterwards because people fired too many bullets. But also, I don't know, I just lost every all in. I don't know if I played bad or not. But yeah, it was just bad tournament. But I remember having a small swap with Dominic, and he won like 800K or something. So I almost got out of it.
Nice, nice.
But yeah, it was bad.
What's your thought on reentries as a whole? Because this is a big debate. You see. I thought someone got runner up, and Norman Chad was talking about 8 bullets was in it, and obviously there's been some others like big tournaments, but at the same time, like someone's in 6 bullets and they win it. There's 7 guys in for 5 that didn't cash, so there's a lot of money added. Where's your stance, and what's the right thing to do here?
I'm not a fan of reentries. I think maximum should be 1. Is my stance. It's just kind of getting kind of silly if you have unlimited money and you're just like, especially if you're like selling. I feel like I heard of some people selling at like 2.0 for the Bellagio 10K, and they fired like 5 bullets. It feels like almost a little scummy. I don't know, in my opinion. Maybe not scummy, but
wow, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that. So if you sell at a markup and you're rebuying, not to mention if you then look at that case, the guy's name was like Zoe or someone in the World Series main event, oversold. Then you ended up like,
well, okay, that's different.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like, imagine you're overselling something, and then you're overselling and doing 5 bullets or something. Like it's crazy.
That would definitely be scummy.
Right. It's just like it does present problems for this stuff.
No, 100%. I just think it's like, if like you're free rolling that much equity off your first bullet, and you kind of like, okay, if I re-enter, I get more like markup kind of thing. And then I think it gets bad. If you have all of your action, I mean, it's kind of fine, I guess.
Interesting.
But I still, like, if I would organize a tournament, I would only allow. Actually, I mean, it's tough. Like the Triton tournaments, for example, like how the founders loved their re-entries.
Yeah. And also here, like Cyprus, there's guys are in for a lot, and it gets a prize up, and play is maybe bad. So it's tricky. Very tricky.
You're right. It's tricky for sure. Maybe, I don't know how I would handle it. Good that I'm not an organizer.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think you're kind of just you can't make everyone happy, but it's it really, I think there is a right formula. I think the one reentry, the problem is too, if you travel like so far and you bust once, it's like tricky too. So it's tricky. What did you do with the money from your first big cash? Did you from a tournament? Was there any special purchase you did in particular?
Maybe not the first cash, but I kind of like made a challenge that I wanted to win 40K euros in the German casino in cash games, and then buy some gifts and a car for 20K for myself. So I did that. Nice. That was my first big purchase.
Very cool. Who do you enjoy playing with the most? And that could mean a lot of things. That could be, whatever that means to you, but someone's just kind of even fun or like a character, or even just, I guess, I ask people a lot, like, who do they not like, or who's tough? But you can't really do that when you're in a, how you don't want to like give someone that power over, to say. So I don't know. Is there anyone that is just like a joy, like at the table, you're just like you talk a lot or have a good time with in particular when you're playing?
I mean, there's so many people. It's
kind of hard to ask and single out.
Really hard. I mean,
we can.
This cash game here, there's a lot of people that I really enjoy playing with, so that's probably why it's so nice.
Okay. Yeah. And after a long session, what do? You bust? You like to watch a movie, relax, spa, take a walk? What do you do?
Yeah. I mean, my dream right now is having a sauna at home, like buying a sauna for my new place, and maybe like one of these like cold plunge ice baths, you know. So that would be my dream after a long session. Usually, like, my friends or my girlfriend are free, I would try to get to a jacuzzi somewhere, in like if you're in a hotel. So that's something like that to relax. Maybe having a beer. That's my dream.
Sports. What about playing sports, or did you growing up?
Yeah. Well, it was always soccer for me. My whole life was kind of soccer. A little bit of table tennis for a while, and then now it's boxing. So boxing is my new favorite sport. Trying to do it everywhere. Nice. Trying to organize some fights, having one probably. So that's my new goal. Yeah.
fights. You're getting on this like the kick. You're seeing
exactly.
it. Yeah.
We already had a plan for like 2 years now, but always something happened, like the gym's closed and stuff. So hopefully it's happening soon against another poker player.
Oh yeah, it's undisclosed. Is it friendly or a little bit of?
No, we're very good friends, but we're gonna take it very seriously.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What's and how did that just both you like it and just decide to make it sound motivating to get good and see who can?
Yeah, I mean the main motivation is to get in shape, like just because it's such a good workout and really pushes us to work out. And he already had one white collar fight, and I kind of like cockily said, "I fight the winner," so that's how it came up.
Oh wow. And how much have you improved? So you're actually like taking lessons and training a lot?
Yeah, in Vegas I trained a ton. He is the first place where I haven't really trained because I couldn't find a boxing gym. I mean, I went to the gym and stuff, but I couldn't train boxing. I'm gonna try to find a coach in Dubai next week and then in Vegas again. And I think he's training quite a bit too. So yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Favorite poker player, and again, let's talk about like growing up. Was there someone on TV, or you just like me watching like Poker After Dark? You're like, this guy, like I like how he plays or how he carries himself, or just stood out as like originally.
Yeah, it was always Ivy and Antonius, which is funny because I just like hung out with them a little bit in Cabo, so it's kind of like a childhood dream, you know.
That's awesome.
But yeah, always the two of them.
Nice.
I mean, even like Hansen and Nikrano, all the old school players were.
Very cool. We cover a couple questions there. What things do you think are possible to reach poker as a sport? Like, do you think poker could make the Olympics? Do you think it could be more deals or endorsements or more like publicly accepted? You know, look at Queen's Gambit. You know, it's sort of like accelerated chess now. I didn't know actually chess.com who was owned by. Do you know who it's owned by?
No.
Ishai Sheinberg, so like the stars guy. Okay. So that site's worth a gazillion now. It's gotten like so popular, so big. Do you think poker has a run in it where it could just become like popularized more? Because I feel like it's a little bit like seedy, still viewed negative connotations in a way. It's sort of shifting a bit, but what do you think the ceiling is? Do you think it could become worldwide, like mainstream?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of sometimes underestimate how big it is. Like, even if you see, I don't know, Jorge Masvidal walking to the Aria yesterday and playing some poker there.
Who was that?
The UFC fighter.
Oh, yeah,
Masvidal.
yeah. Yep.
I never, like, really thought about that. Like, so many, like, professional athletes and stuff love playing poker.
Yeah.
And if they get more into it, like, they have, like, some televised shows or some, I don't know, tournaments where they participate in, I think like the ceiling is really high. Like,
yeah, I saw Ludwig and Mr. Beast. They were playing heads up in their apartment and doing stuff. And it's like, yeah, I think it's pretty close to having everyone's heart. Like, you just kind of realize how many people play poker, like indirectly or directly. It's just something that everyone can do. It's fun. It's sort of like golf where you just get to like hang out, have a good time. There's like some skill and luck, and it's a good game. I think it's got a future. The difference between online and live, there's some obvious differences. Is there anything that stands out for you though, that like you have to actually, you know, say you're playing live here and then you go hop online, you have to like remind yourself almost like how different is the game? Like, you know, the obvious reasons with live tells and, you know, trackers and software and stuff, but like, what is there anything for you that is, that you would say you could sort of differentiate that is important that maybe someone's not thinking about? Like, is there something fundamentally different?
I mean, not really. I mean, maybe if you play live, you kind of know what the other person knows, as in like they see all the hands. But online, you don't know. They play like 10 or 30 tables. So sometimes if you think, okay, last hand this happened, maybe the other person didn't even realize because they had like 30 other tables and like just clicked other stuff. So I guess the information is just a little different. But other than that, it's pretty much the same game. For sure. Do you watch any podcasts? Do you watch like Rogan or any mainstream podcasts at all? Listen to anyone? I mean, I watch some crypto podcasts, I guess, and then some German ones. Probably not that known. What else? Yeah, Lewis House, I kind of like too. But yeah, other than that, I'm more into like audiobooks and stuff. Not that much into podcasts. If you weren't a pro poker player, what would you be doing right now, do you think? I really have no idea. I mean, my whole family is kind of like into the medicine field, like doctors and stuff. So maybe I would have taken up that or some other sports, hopefully. I mean, I never really wanted to like go to uni for that long and then go straight to work. So maybe something self-employed is more likely. the business world or something like that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Most memorable moment, we covered this. Also, we covered the swordfish, so you got to look back on that, guys. That is in there. Would you consider playing Phil Hellmuth in a high stakes heads up match?
Very few things in my life that I would rather do.
Do you want me to arrange that boxing match? If you boxing and poker heads up.
100%, yes.
All right.
But he's a big dude.
Yeah, he is big. I don't know though. He's a little probably. I don't think he's in boxing form, but for sure he's tall. Ace king suited or sevens. You're all in for sevens. You gotta have that's slight advantage. What ace king suited seven? Seven's got the little thing. It's special hand for you too, and it always is coming seven, as we know.
Spots that came up with sevens. It's like, it's really bizarre how many. Even like the Dönig, the German guy, he had this huge hands of seven. It's always been sevens, and they always hit sets.
It's crazy. It is. It's crazy. How to not tilt with players who know how to go all in every hand of the tournament and always win. I don't know. Like, I guess someone who's aggressive and lucky is that. I mean, the question is. I mean, it's just you want that, right? You want action. So it's like, listen, if they're running hot, they're running hot.
Of course, it's tough, but just try to get it in good.
Oktoberfest. Do you go? Will you go? I'm sure you've gone.
My girlfriend's from Munich, and her family is really into the Oktoberfest. So next time we're gonna be there.
Very cool. Improve your cash game. What would you do? Is there any area in particular that you found yourself working hard on? Is the spots like from the small blind or short? Like, give me something that in cash games someone could work on to improve.
A deep stack out of position play would be my pick because it's so tough. There's so many different board textures that you have to work on and sizings. Like in cash games, sometimes you have like 500 big blinds or even more, and then there's straddles, everything you have to adapt to. So sometimes I'm really lost what to do. Like when I 3-bet a small blind, 500 big steep or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
have you been through a period of doubt with your game? If so, how did you overcome this? Was there a time where series, you brick for a week or two or online, you don't have anything go right, and you're just like, what's going on? And how did you kind of regroup, if so?
Yeah. I remember one WSOP. It was probably the toughest one. I think I cashed maybe 1 out of 35 or something.
Wow.
Tournaments, and I was like, what am I doing? It's like, can't win anymore. Maybe should get a different job or something. So,
wow.
So that was probably the toughest period of my life. So, I mean, I had like streaks of maybe like 10, 15 tournaments. It's kind of normal, and when you play a lot of live poker, where you don't cash. But I mean, you just kind of have to make a decision if you want to do it for a living. You have to go through it and just like work even harder, like do a lot of theoretical stuff.
And during that stretch, one for a lot during the WSOP, how like would you attribute? Were you late registering? Do you think you was something not right? Like, or was just like, were you just, was there, how much of that was yourself and how much was it just like, look, that's variance and
I mean, that's always, it's kind of always more stuff happening together. Like I was going through like a tough breakup and like moving countries and this kind of stuff. And then like going WSOP was probably a bad idea to begin with, like because my head wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you then start running bad, it's always like accelerates, right? Like you don't think you can win anymore. You already know you're losing the next flip. And you're probably playing a lot worse. I mean, for me, that was the case. I definitely didn't play well in
what year? Which WSOP was that? What year? Roughly like 14, 13, 15.
Maybe like 15 would be my guess.
Okay.
Like that.
So that's not fun for sure. But you just kind of you do you take some time off then, and do you kind of reflect, or do you just kind of like, or is it for you important just to get some momentum? And I should have
100% taken up time, but I didn't. I was just like, I don't know, burying myself in work. And then played a lot of cash game and recouped a lot of the losses afterwards. So it wasn't as bad, but during that time was really tough.
How does he think about? Okay, I'm not sure I understand that one. Favorite cheese? Kind of a random question, but do you have one? Do you like one in particular?
I like Gouda.
Brie guy, I like that's good too. Your most memorable all in. Is there any hand that stands out from like a dramatic run out in a big spot, or a get there for you, or any one outer royal flush, like something that's like you just never forget?
I would probably say the 7 hands again, because it like was just like an epic run out and like televised and was the clip everywhere, and like I don't know. And what else? I guess Yeah, maybe just because like the Monte Carlo win where I had a straight and he had just had a gotcha, like just 3 outs to win. I was like really sweating it to hold because it's such a big moment. Maybe that one.
Very cool. Best advice you've ever received in poker?
Oh, tough one. Couldn't really think of anything like in poker.
Like someone like someone told you or explained about bankroll management or buy-ins you should have, or any, you know, any kind of life, like not necessarily like
oh yeah, I mean for life advice it's always Fedor who is giving me the best. I think he's just so wise for his age. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I guess actually like Jason Kuhn always said like yeah, just enjoy the process more than having goals. I think that's just like a big one because it's so important. Because yeah, even monetary goals or whatever you're setting, like if you get there, maybe it doesn't feel as good as you think it would. So yeah, enjoying the process is a huge deal.
Yeah, that's great advice. Crypto or stocks?
I mean, I own both, but I own a lot more crypto right now. So yeah,
crypto it is. Routine, if you have one before a big live event, do you have a gym routine? Do you have a diet routine? You know, are you regimented by it, or is it just with cash games and such you can't really plan exactly?
Yeah, I mean it also changed a lot. But I remember before Monte Carlo, I was just like in the best shape because I always did like intermittent fasting. You know, like I just like I woke up and had like I walked to the Starbucks and had some cold brew and some like sparkling water, and I didn't eat all day till like at night when I ordered some brew service. And I just feel so much sharper, like that meditation and cold showers and all this stuff like coming together. I never felt so sharp in my life, and now I don't know. I've been playing these like 30-hour cash game sessions again. It's kind of getting out of
the hot showers, right? Yeah. The hot showers and just trying to feel comfortable.
That would be.
The question actually from, I think this is relevant because he has that. I'd like to know if he changed his phone number a couple months ago because some dude with this picture WhatsApp me about XRP and never messaged me. It sounds like scams. There's a lot of this stuff going on. Actually, so I told you as well. Someone messaged me for like 10K on Skype or something saying it was you. So, anything to say on all this topics?
I'm actually not exactly sure, but I also think I'm just being like a completely terrible friend because I do remember talking with Andy, but I don't remember about Rip. Oh, maybe we actually talked about it. But yeah, it sounds like I'm just being a terrible friend who forgot to answer to him WhatsApp message. That's how I interpret it. He's a good friend of mine, so I'm not exactly sure if that was a scam message or he's talking about that one. But I do apologize for not replying. Sorry, Andy.
There it is. Maybe we'll message him send him a message after. And favorite format at MTT Poker, speed, how many blinds, people per table? What's your dream? You look on the lobby. What tournament do you love to see?
7 or 8 handed, probably. Maybe actually 8. Fast structure. Probably bounty, actually. Would be my favorite. Yeah.
And let's take this last question. At least here, there's a few more. So, guys, it's time to get in for the giveaway. So we're almost done here. But the name Manig, it is a unique name. I don't know anyone else named Manig. What does that come from?
Neither do I. It's not a German name either. So I asked my parents, obviously, because I get that question like every day. And there is a book where the main character is called Manig, and my parents just really liked it. And picked that name, but I did some research. I tried to find the name, and actually, as surname, it exists apparently. There's a lot of people being called that, but I've never met or found a person with the first name like that. So yeah, my parents like unique names. I mean, my sisters are Xenia and Zoe, so not super. I mean, more known than mine for sure, but also not normal German names. Yeah, I just like it.
and so you have how many brothers and sisters?
2 sisters, yeah.
2 sisters. And where are you on the? Where do you?
I'm the youngest.
The youngest. Yeah. And what do they think? Are they big into poker? Do they follow you? Do they come on any trips ever?
No, they haven't come to trips. My parents joined me for trips. I took both my dad to Bahamas and my mom to Gran Canaria and Vegas sometimes. But my sisters haven't been. They both have kids, so they kind of can't travel that much. But yeah, they're super supportive as well. They send me messages when I'm deep and stuff. Yeah.
And do you, for your kids, do you see if in the future, if you do have kids? I know you said you're interested in starting a family. What are your thoughts about poker for them? Yeah. Is there like, do you you see teaching them or showing them the game early on? Would you be happy if they played for? I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because the times and things change and all this. But like, how would you? What do you think about kids, and what's the right age to right now? Let's say today, what would be like the right time to let kids get into it?
As you said, who knows what's happening in 20 years or whenever they can play in casinos. I think poker is one of the best things you can teach someone, like just for everything. Like I think like when I started investing more or like buying startups and this kind of stuff, I think like all of that came from poker. And then also like the people I met, like they gave me so much good advice, like in the business world and everything, on decision making, on not like sweating the swings as much. Like even if you talk to some like professional like stock traders or whatever, sometimes they really have a hard time handling losses. And I mean, it's like such a big part of their job.
Right.
So I think poker is really good preparation for that. And I would love to teach my children. Other people, I'd probably also go for chess and physical sports. But for sure, poker as well.
Yeah, they say poker players make great traders, but traders don't make great poker players. And that's it's interesting because you got to be able to, especially if you're sort of like multi-tabling poker, right? If you take a bad beat or you get knocked out or something happens here, you got other tables, other stuff. It's like a trade. One thing's going bad or something. You can't kind of lose your focus and head. So I think I honestly think it's the greatest game in the world. I think there's so many things you can apply to everyday life, and same thing, like you just dealing with swings and stock portfolio or something. Like so many people, I'm sure with crypto, they can't, like if you just get like introduced straight into crypto, it's got to be kind of wild, right? Like the swings. Whereas for us, like, you see stuff moving around, you just kind of like, all right, cool. Like when it's good, it's good. And when it's not, you're like, that's part of it. And I think that does help to sort of, manage your expectations and just realize that stuff can change quickly. So I agree. Any other closing statements here, guys? We're going to do this. Thank you for that sub, by the way. Zenzor live here is, and we got people asking about crypto advice, XRP to play. Do you have any flyers? Obviously Bitcoin, Ethereum, like CryptoPunks. Is there any kind of altcoins or something that you kind of like or have a feeling about for whatever reason? Is there anything that you think is cool right now?
Yeah. Don't buy Ripple, guys, please. You're reading that now. I mean, I don't know, but I personally only have a little bit of Ripple. I do have a ton of Solana. I guess that would be my pick to recommend. And then I'm more into NFTs nowadays than buying all altcoins. Yeah,
I agree. I like and how are you sticking to blue chips, or are you looking at some other sort of NFTs that are interesting or maybe lower price for big upside, or do you like to go more just what's hot?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tough because I'm like, I don't want to feel guilty like when something going down.
Yeah.
But these like two recommendations would be probably World of Women NFTs. It's my favorite right now. I got in really early, like at minting, so obviously I should probably say that as well as a warning.
Right.
But I think they're gonna crush. The team is amazing. And then actually on the Bitcoin chain, the Rare Pepper, they're my favorite right now.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. I have like infinite different NFTs, but these are the ones I could recommend without having bad feeling.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so let's go over here. We are going to load this giveaway up, and $109 ticket. It starts. I've seen some crazy spin ups, crazy runs. $109 ticket coming someone's way. I think last year Charlotte, she won online the party like $100 to $600K.
Yes,
pretty sick. She on the bubble. It was very intense.
I remember. She was on the bubble, right?
Yeah, and I think and then she ended up taking down a big score. But look, hey, it can happen, and I hope we get to see someone do well. If you guys win the ticket and let me know, send me a message on Twitter on what you're playing. But we're gonna load this up and let Manig choose. So you tell me when, and I am gonna choose a winner.
Oh yeah, when to click?
You just tell me when.
Go.
All right, let's load it. We're choosing. We're gonna screen for bots. This is very cool. This is Grid Gaming. This is the MP3 his name. He has this customized retweet tool, so it like screens winners. It gets rid of bots, and it's a very nice tool. So there's the winner, MVP Chalet. We are gonna send you a message. Marcelo looks serious. He looks ready to win. Play some poker. He did the retweet, follow the instructions, and we will send you a message. And I am going to Looks like he's won before. Look at that. Some guys have.
Oh,
Look at this.
damn.
Some guys can multiple win. I always wonder if there's guys like hacking or or getting in. It seems hard to win multiple giveaways, but it does happen. And what was I going to say? I think actually, what is the time? Has the main event started yet today? What day? It's 4:00 probably. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think I have to get started.
I am going to. So we're going to send this over to Party Poker. I think it's Party Poker TV. Let me just double check that on Twitch. Yeah, so I'm gonna send that right over. Are you you have any sweats in the main, or is anyone you're rooting for? I think there's Heido, or there's one German.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I only had 2 swaps. I don't really swap anymore much, and he only got 10th, and Robert is still in the finals, so I got really lucky. Wow. Small pieces, but yeah, I don't know if he's still in now. I didn't check my phone in the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was short sec, but obviously rooting for him. And then the Austrian guys, super nice too. And yeah, bunch of legends at the table actually. So
yeah,
can't root for just one.
I saw some crazy play down the stretch. I think the chip leader is he's a fun player, right? He's like playing unconventionally and aggressive and looked like a good personality. And it should be a fun final table. So guys, you can watch that on Party Poker TV on Twitch, and I will likely go live later today and play this day 2, but I'm gonna at least do some commentary for the final table and go check in over there. We are in North Cyprus. We are live, and this is podcast number 149 with Manig. Really do appreciate the time. I am going to, I guess we'll see you in Vegas in 2 weeks. You said you're gonna go travel, come back, and then will you play? What's the Vegas schedule? You're gonna play everything, or
yeah,
every no limit pretty much. You don't play? Do you play PLO?
I do play PLO. I'm gonna play some of the mixed stuff, probably maybe even some like small dealer's choice or something, just to learn more.
Yeah,
not the big ones though. And then depending on which private games I get into, or which games in general are gonna run, I'm gonna play more tourneys or more cash.
For sure. That's the plan. All right, guys. Yeah. Well, listen, number 149, Manig, it's in the books. Keep an eye on him. He's going for that Triple Crown on the World Poker Tour. He's gotten second. I didn't realize he was that close. That's pretty crazy. So root for him. Really great guy, great player, and this was a blast. So we'll check in with you guys in Vegas, and I will have number 150 very, very soon. We're gonna have a bunch of live podcasts in Vegas with some of your favorite players as well. So thank you very much.
Thanks,
and guys, follow him on Twitter, follow him on Instagram, Swordfish007 on Twitter. And yeah, he travels the world, plays poker, and he shares. I mean, you do put out some updates and NoLimit.gg as well. He's a part of that team, and they do some great streams and great players. So again, thanks to Manig, and we'll see you guys over on the Party Poker TV final table from North Cyprus. Big money, I think $600K plus up top. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch. And yeah, see you guys soon.